What is all this icon fatigue stuff anyway? There it is. I'm just kidding. So icon fatigue is a not particularly original name for what a user feels when a UI has too many icons or uses too many task to icon pairings they don't recognize. The problem itself has two aspects. First part is qualitative. In plain English, that just means the icon doesn't really express what clicking it is going to do. Users have no idea what this thing does and may avoid it if destructive actions are hard to undo in your app. And the second part is quantitative. In other words, the archetypal Windows 2000 era user interface. How does a UI get this way? So I have an unofficial theory that the number of icons on a UI grows steadily as more and more functionality is added to the app, generally on projects that don't have an empowered user experience professional or information architect. Note the use of the word empowered. Another feature added, the implementer thinks, well, everything else is an icon, so this probably needs one too. And of course, when you change the context, does the icon's meaning stay the same? So, what is the largest subset of recognizable task to icon pairings for mobile office productivity applications, and what are their expected behaviors? So, what did I do to those three poor souls who volunteered to participate? So, we started off with first click testing. And the purpose of this was to show the strongest mental associations participants have between specific icons and at what point they experience icon fatigue. Note the transition between the one on the left and the one on the right. With the one on the left, you can actually see the space in between each icon, and the one on the right is just a nightmare. And the second method was card sorting. The purpose of this was to let participants define their own relationships between icons and tasks. More of an open ended kind of exercise. Pro tip: family and friends will start to avoid your texts on weekday evenings if that's generally when you ask them to be guinea pigs in some new homework assignment. We want the widest possible demographics. So it means men, women of all ages, all ethnic backgrounds, income levels, education, career, and technical proficiency. Most of the participants agreed most of the time. There's a 83% consensus. Much more than I was expecting. But when they disagreed, they really disagreed. As you can see, like the clicks on this are all over the place. For the card sorting, because it was a more open-ended exercise, there was a lot more contention. This table, I'm going to describe how to actually read this thing because it was a beast to interpret. So I sat for about 2 hours on a Saturday trying to extract some kind of meaning out of this. And this is as far as I got. So, with a total of three participants, if you're looking at the table from top to bottom in a single column, you'll see that all the numbers in that column add up to three for the three participants. So as you can see, this entire span of cells were all over the place. You know, folks had multiple opinions on what these icons actually represent. And this was actually the best part of the assignment. We had a participant who sorted the Pac-Man icon under help, where most would have expected that to go under play. The rationale behind it was, it looks like a little guy who's saying help. And then there's the donut thing that the lifeguard will throw at you if you're drowning. Looked like a soccer ball. It's probably more related to the flat icon motif, just not conveying design intent. And lastly, the folded up paper thing, which most people generally interpret as a map, was like a letter from an envelope and was sorted under email. So, what to do with all this info? So, this was a rushed homework project squished into my schedule between major crunch time at work, planning a major family travel exercise, and life in general. So, caveat emptor on the hard data and analysis. So, what you're going to want to do is obviously, you need more time, more researchers, more people, and probably more money. And the bottom line really is just don't blindly assume that any icon is going to work in all contexts. You're going to want to do actual testing. Sit live human beings who are not part of your project down in front of a mock-up and ask them what they think the icons are going to do. You will be surprised, they'll tell you. And that's about it. I originally had this slide say questions, but given that this is kind of a monologue, it'd be weird to ask for questions at the end. Thanks for your time.